I've been picking on the EU a lot lately, but they just make it too easy. Today they had a summit meeting, and it was this is undoubtedly the worst week in EU history, and you would think it couldn't get any worse. Somebody pointed that out to Ursula von der Leyen. Her response, here, hold my beer, because you ain't seen nothing yet. It gets worse and worse. It's they were the shitbirds driving the clown car were doing donuts in the parking lot today. uh, I talked about this. I don't know, one day this week, maybe yesterday. Um, it, the So Hungary is filing charges against uh, the Ukraine for coming into their country and slaughtering Ukrainian people in a Russian-speaking section of Hungary. And a death squad, a Ukrainian death squad came in and killed a bunch of Hungarians. Hungarians kind of took issue with that, and you can't really say I blame them. Um, the Go figure. They didn't like Ukrainians coming in and shooting people in their streets. So they filed charges yesterday. They filed charges against the Ukraine for war crimes yesterday in the in NATO, and today they're pressing for sanctions in the EU summit meeting. So, and that's just one of the things that's going on in the EU summit meeting. It's before the meeting, some of the bad boys of the EU, like Le Pen and what's his name, Arbon or whatever, the Hungarian guy that's not too happy, the leader, along with, it wasn't just the outlaws, the AFD people and stuff. They had a meeting before the EU summit meeting. And Italy attended this meeting. Belgium attended this meeting. It wasn't just the outliers; it was the heavy hitters in the EU were at this meeting. And the meeting was basically a gigantic public fuck you to the European Union leadership. Somebody says I have a bald head. I got to look who this is. Adrian Stanislow. Well, give yourself a gold star for being observant. How did you notice? Jesus Christ. Orban. Yeah, Orban. Thank you. Don't ignore me. I don't like to ignore anybody. And hello, and at least you didn't call me bald head. It's like, I don't know. Jesus. That's like saying, human, you stupid, you human, you stupid man, you human. Um, anyway, thanks for the input, I guess. Thanks for noticing. I try to hide it. Anyway, yeah, it was a shit show. It was the worst meeting. It couldn't have gotten any worse. But like I said, Ursula von der Leyen said, "Here, hold my beer. Let's see what we can do. Let's see if we can give ourselves a Darwin Award." Um, so the headlines. I've been grocery shopping and stuff today. I just got back to the boat, but I looked at the headlines, and the headlines are basically. Let's just say that the optics couldn't be worse for what they did. They should have almost canceled the meeting and said, "Hey, we're too bumble fucked up to pull this meeting off. We're just going to go over to Ursula's crib and drink some adrenochrome and have a few satanic ceremonies or something. Um, and it couldn't have been any worse. The optics, if they had just had a like a demonic ceremony where they sacrificed children and extracted adrenochrome, it really, at this point, the damage is done. So let's see what the cards have to say about this buffoonery. Has the clown car careened off the cliff today? Because it kind of looks that way. What Hungary is doing is the only way the optics could be worse is if the EU summit, the brain trust of the EU just flew in a Learjet to Gaza and started eating like dead babies. I mean, really, that probably would draw a little attention, but at this point, bad publicity is all they're going to get on anywhere. So let's see what the cards have to say about this. I've been tracking the decline of the EU and comparing it to like the Soviet Union, because that was actually kind of a similar structure. It was a supranational structure overseeing a group of nations. And the USSR took about 7 years to deteriorate how much the EU has deteriorated since I did the first one of these live broadcasts like 2 weeks ago. So yeah, things are happening a lot faster than they used to. Yeah, at this rate, what took the Soviet Union 9 years to accomplish, the EU might do in about 3 weeks. So we give them some credit for that. That's gumption. So, the signifier, judgment. Yeah. I haven't read any articles or any of what the Mockingbird media has to say about it, but I will. I'll read how the propagandists spin this, but they aren't even trying, judging from the headlines. They're like the headline. Most of the headline was EU summit WTF question mark. Overall situation is putting their craft to use, and the craft seems to be just screwing the pooch, and they are putting that to real good use. Here's the gateway, spiritual action, initiating spiritual action. The root, everything's built on temptation. And that is it. I mean, the EU had serious structural problems right from the start. But the biggest problem they have right now is getting past their own egos. They just they can't begin to solve any problems because that would require them admitting how badly they screwed the pooch in the first place. And they're too arrogant, they're too narcissistic to do that. And here's the present moment is generosity. And I'm not seeing a lot of that in the headlines. And here's the psychological future is bringing things into balance in stormy seas. Maybe they'll pull this off. And this is the future. This is the Ten of Wands. This is, I call this not seeing the forest for the trees. You're overwhelmed with your burden. Usually that means you're just about to the end of the finish line. Maybe the finish line is just, maybe the EU will quit being like a regulatory superstructure and just become, I don't know, maybe a dinner club like that one, that Cameron had to resign for skull fucking excuse me, for an inappropriate photo op. Let's put it that way. Okay, this is their fears. This is their is they fear that the venture they set out on isn't going to come to fruition. Well, I think they're probably right. This is the astrological energy. This is the initiating action. And it really, what can they do at this point? There's not much. Hey, brother, now brother, how you feel about yourself are satisfied about what you are and what did you achieve. I'm pretty happy with my life. Yeah, Jesus, I, I live in a sailboat. I have a most amazing human on earth as my partner. I again, I live on a sailboat. I'm in the tropics. I mean, uh, I'm okay. I'm okay with my life. Hope you're doing well. Do you support Gaza? Yes, I do. I mean, I don't talk about that much, but you can go back and look at some of the videos we've done on Israel and Gaza. Uh, in fact, why don't you? That's good. Good. That'll clear up a lot of things. Greetings from Scotland. Hey, I might be Victoria and I might be sailing through Scotland if they'll let us in after these videos. I mean, uh, maybe next summer. Might go through the canals on our way to Norway. Uh, Hi from Germany. Hello. I hope you're all doing well in Germany. I really am. I'm very concerned about y'all. Video call Allah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't really, me and the Elohim aren't really, we're not like that. So this is their desires. They really want to, they want to get moving and have some kind of victory. Uh, I don't know if that's going to come true. No, I don't think it is. And this is the final outcome, and this is poverty, and that is the biggest. I mean, the 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 biggest kick in the nuts the EU is going to get is from people pulling their funding. I mean, people are just with what's going on right now with the BRICS unit and if the U.S. administration with revaluing gold and coming out with an all, I mean, the euro is gonna maybe not be quite as effed in the A as the Weimar Republic Deutschmark, but it's not gonna be much better. And yeah, that's where the EU is gonna get really hit is in funding. Again, I've talked about this before. The Japanese carry trade unwinding it's gonna dry up their cash like it's not gonna be good. Uh, yeah, yeah, well, I will, yeah. So this modifies their fears, and this modifies their astrological energies, and that's isolation. And this modifies their desires, which is traditional power. Yeah, I bet they want that. And this modifies the final outcome, which is poverty. But this is rebirth. So, I'm thinking that it's quite possible. It's not going to end well for them. They're built on basically ego. They're built on it's like a ego project. The whole EU is like a circle jerk. Yeah, well, a circular firing squad now, but it started out as a circle jerk. Now it's a circular firing squad. I mean, seriously. And this is the final outcome. I do not see this ending well for the EU. And I think the thing that's gonna really be the fork in their ass is the death of the currency. There were people, good, smart people, who were trying to tell the EU that their plan for a union currency had some serious flaws. And that's because actually, if you look what the BRICS countries are doing with their unit of currency, they're structuring it almost the exact opposite of the way the EU structured the euro. The euro was, I mean, you can't have an Italian lira and a French franc and a German Deutschmark have the same value because they have different inputs into the overall economy. But to try to make this universal currency, the BRICS currencies are going to be weighted in part by how much gold that the countries have in the bank. So there's going to be an asset backing to it, and that's why all these countries are buying all the goddamn gold and silver they can get their hands on. That's why the prices are going up. That's the main reason the prices are shooting up, one of many. But I think maybe for the people of Europe, this might be all right. You know, they can once the you know I I I don't think, and I hope that it doesn't end like Bastille Day too. As much as I dislike Macron and Mertz and Starmer and the 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 whole freaking crew, I don't think anybody will be. Uh, I don't think anybody will be benefit benefiting from a Bastille Days type bloodletting. I think it'll be awful, and not just for the shitbirds that are in the pointy end of the guillotine, but for the whole Europe. But maybe they can learn from the disaster that the EU has created and come up with um, organizational system that um, respects personal sovereignty. It respects the personal sovereignty of the people of Europe. They can make the laws they want regarding immigration and you know regulations and things like that. Whether they want to have internal combustion engines or drive Teslas, they can make their own damn mind up. You know, but but so they'll have like community sovereignty and personal sovereignty within their communities. So what works in Budapest doesn't necessarily work in Brussels. I mean, they're very different places with very different cultures and very different people. Maybe they'll come up with something that respects individual cultures and individual communities and individual societies, uh, but doesn't like try to control everybody and everything in the whole union. It, it's a low bar. It's like I said I used Gaza as an example of. I was trying to think of a place that's probably a place where something's happening that's even more despicable than what's happening in the EU right now. And the I was trying to think of something even more despicable than EU leaders telling um, their people that they got to prepare to sacrifice their children to go die in a war against Russia for some cross-dressing Nazis in the Ukraine. It's you know so it's a pretty so I had to think hard. What's more despicable? What's more despicable is the genocide that's been taking place since well, for a lot longer than that, but it's been actively taking place since October 7th of what was it, 2023 or whatever in Gaza. Um, so yeah, yeah, the EU telling its people to go prepare to send their children to be cannon fodder in the meat grinder that is the Ukrainian war against Russia. Um, that probably you got to go to you got to go to the destruction of Gaza to find something even more despicable. And but like I said, looks like I think the people are going to be okay. It's going to be, they got some work cut out for them. They've got to act. They've got to move on this. And but they're, the people are, the leaders are going to get what they deserve. The shitbirds in the clown car are going to get what they deserve. And but the people might get that too, and the people deserve a hell of a lot better than they're getting from their leadership. With that, I think that's the reading, and it's not all bad. I hope y'all are doing well. I hope y'all are okay. Thank you for watching. I had a lot more people watching live this time, and um, and yes, I am a bald head. Somebody was somebody was like was a sharp like a eagle eye to spot that one. I don't know how they figured that out. Love you all, and if you want to know more about what we've readings we've done in the past, check out some of the readings we've done on Gaza and Israel, and a few years ago, back when Victoria and I used to do these together. Till then, take care. Love you all, and even the fellow that called me a bald head, because what can I say? I can't argue with that. Take care, and I'll probably be a new set of clowns to talk about in the shit show tomorrow. Bye.